you mentioned powering up. What exactly is powering up?
I love the concept about powering up because everyone can relate to a battery that's empty or a battery is full. Now, people don't understand that there's an energy that travels from person to person. That energy is never lost, it's only transferred. And we can get this energy inside of ourselves to power ourselves up and to power our battery up. Now, when you look at someone like Andre Agassi and he comes out on the court one day and he's so powered up, he's glowing, you know he's going to win. The next day he comes out and he looks really dull, like he's not going to win, and you just know he's not going to win. This source of this power is able to be filled up every day or emptied every day. The way that the power gets filled up is by, I have a list of things that I help people with to try and get them powered up. One of them is to take your focus off yourself and stop worrying about everything. Stop being judgmental about every single person that you meet and yourself. That's number one. That powers you down. Number two, if you want to get powered down, start looking at mobile phones all day or computers all day and listening to external information. The second that you do that, you lose all of your power. If you want to get powered up, you've got to do the opposite. So we're mammals. If you want to get powered up, you've got to go outside, you've got to listen to the beautiful sound of the wind and the trees and the rain. Smell what you can smell. Close your eyes, listen. Feel what you feel on your skin. Open your eyes and see. Feel the sun. That powers you up. You've got to help all living things as much as you can by going and taking the focus off the things that you're worried about and going to take the focus on helping somebody else or doing something for a living thing. Go water some plants, go out in the garden, go help some animals somewhere, help somebody if they drop something down. Everything that you do that's good, if you have a look at the people around you that are always glowing, that always look happy, watch what they're doing in their life because they're powered up. When you're powered up, your battery is full, everything good comes to you. You have this knowing in your heart, you feel supercharged, and everything starts working. You get the job, you get the date, you get the relationship, you get everything. Money comes in freely and easily, and everything works. The second that you start using judgment, the second that you start looking around and just on mobile phones and reading messages. You know, we recently lost one of my dearest friends because of the bullying that was going on. All of the stuff on the cyber chats and all of that loses your power. So if you want your power back, turn off some of that stuff. Go outside. Go take your shoes off and walk on the park or in the sand. All of those things power you up. Have gratitude. Every day be really grateful. The more that you can do every day, and teach your children to do the same thing. The more that you spend time doing this, the greater your battery is. When you've got all of this energy, then you can direct it. And that's the most important thing. People want things in their lives, but then they lose their battery's power, and then they get nothing. When your battery is low, negativity surrounds you. Negative people, negative events, you bang the car, everything goes wrong, you're stuck, you're confused. You power back up again, and it only takes minutes to power up. You either go outside for a minute, and if you can't do that, you're sitting in a house and it's snowing, just imagine yourself sitting there and feel that sun on you, feel what's around you. Send love and nice thoughts out to people. Whatever good things you do powers your battery up and you glow. That's when your life really comes together and you get everything that you want.
Okay, so a lot of people say that they just feel miserable or they just feel down, or they perhaps look at others and say, well, that person always feels happy. Are you saying that that's not the case and that these people are actively powering themselves up?
Yep, they actively power themselves up.
What would you say to the people who say, well, I just feel miserable and I can't power myself up? That's the whole point.
I'd say it's a choice. I say being power up is a choice. And you can either choose to feel miserable or you can choose to feel happy. You actually, you know, if you want to lose weight, you got to do some exercise and eat the right food. If you want to be powered up, you got to go do what you have to do to power up. It's a choice, you know, and people can say that I feel miserable all the time and nothing works. But if they don't actually get out and give it a go, you know, it's like if you were going to be a bodybuilder. You can't build a bodybuilder sitting at home watching bodybuilding. You actually have to go and do some bodybuilding. And it's the same with powering up. If you want to power up, you've got to look at the things that power you down and the things that power you up. For everyone, it's different. I was never judgmental. I've gone through my whole life not judgmental. So, you know, I look at everyone and every culture and everybody, I look at every experience as a lesson. So for me, when I'm looking at people that have lessons, if I see something bad on TV, this is the catch for most people. They see something that someone's done on TV and instantly they get angry, they get upset. I don't, because I don't know what's happening to that person. I don't know their life lessons. So the strongest way that we lose our battery, we lose our power, is by judging other people or judging ourselves. So I'm very careful not to do that, because I realize it's the biggest thing to disempower you. So back to your question, how do you actually power yourself up? It's a choice. You actually have to choose. Take your kids for a walk. Teach them how to power up. Be the good example. Be like the person who is always shining, is always helpful. Sit back and watch what they do. I bet you they smile at everybody. I bet you they always are helpful. I bet you that they do beautiful things like sit out in the lunch in the sun and have their sandwich. Instead of sitting on their mobile phone, they're looking outside. Being powered up is a choice.
All right, so how can it help people in everyday lives? Just give us some quick examples of, perhaps adults or kids or business people, people in relationships.
Okay, I think the thing across the board that everyone needs to understand is this concept that energy is never lost, it's transferred. So if you're around with someone who's sad, and I mean this is a scientific fact that energy is transferred. So if you're sitting with somebody who's really sad and their energy is really low, you're likely to walk out of the room feeling really low. An example of that, and then I'll go into all these other examples, is that one day I had worked too long. 15 hours I worked with people, and I probably gave too much of my power away without stopping to power back up again. And I trained people not to take on people's stuff, but that day, because my resources got down, my battery emptied, I took on a bit too much stuff. When I got to the airport to fly home, I almost couldn't walk. It had disabled me that much, and I'm never disabled, but it disabled me that day. And I watched these people, and they were so in love, and they were hugging and kissing, and the energy coming off them was so beautiful that I just stopped and closed my eyes and felt it, and just tuned into that beautiful energy that they had, and I powered myself back up and I was fine. So let's say that it's children. Say that children are really struggling at school with relationships, or they're feeling, maybe they're overweight, or they don't feel pretty that day, or they're not feeling that they're very good in their sport, or they're just feeling disempowered. Well, if we teach them how to power up, to stop those thoughts that are going through their head, to just stop and be still, and then focus on something external to them, that powers them up, that they can learn to send good energy to people. If you send good energy to people, I get little children to imagine this beautiful pink light from their heart that's going out to everybody. And as soon as they do it, they feel good and they feel like they're empowered. A lot of the journey work I do is taking children back to a moment in their life where they were disempowered and repowering them up, getting them to sit there in their mind and their journey, going outside and feeling the sun on them and being in the rainforest, and then sending out all this power that they're feeling from their battery. Because once your battery's full, you can start sending out that energy to anyone you want. Every time you send it out, you get more. So that's how I deal with children and adolescents. I teach them that. For someone like dating, before you go on a date, if you've got your head going round and round about that you're not pretty, or you're not handsome, or you're not, your tummy's sticking out, or this, you're going to have a shocking date. So I get people to power up, take the focus off themselves, and get themselves feeling connected to everything and everybody so that they feel good about themselves. And then they go and have a happy date. If it's someone who's a corporate person, or someone going for an interview, or they have to do a sales pitch, I just get them connected. What it is that being powered up means getting out of your head, not listening to your ego, and just staying as calm and present as you possibly can in the moment. Like at the moment, there's birds. While I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, those birds are sending me beautiful voices that I'm listening to. The sun over there on the grass is just so beautiful and vibrant, and it's powering me up so I can do this for hours. So powering up has nothing to do with what you're eating or drinking, even though being healthy is important. The most important thing is that you got to understand this energy that we have, that we can build and fill up our batteries. When it's full, there's no situation that can't help.
So what happens with somebody who, let's say that they're watching this sitting in hospital and they're not feeling very well, and everyone around them is not feeling very well, and perhaps have had a bit of a rough trot, and they can't get outside onto the grass and they can't sit in the garden? What would you recommend for them?
There's a couple of things. One of the things that I recommend is that they just have to take the focus off being ill. Okay, number one, your mind is a really clever thing, and through this series I'm going to teach people how to use your mind to heal yourself. But the most important thing straight away is that you're in a very clinical environment. You've got people coming, it's very intrusive all the time. It's not a very pleasant experience. So you've got to choose to take your mind on a journey yourself. Go think of some moments that were beautiful for you. Go see yourself walking on the beach. Look at yourself picking up shells. I have a whole bunch of journeys that I did to help people who don't have very good visual powers. There's some people that feel things more. If you're a feely type of person and you're in hospital, then just start sending out love and beautiful, things and thoughts and kindness out to everybody in the ward, out to your family who aren't with you. Start having beautiful thoughts about things. If you're somebody who listens to things, you can put on one of my guided journeys. If you're somebody who's very visual, just imagine yourself at the beach, imagine yourself in the rainforest. And when you're there, use all of your senses. See the water dripping down, feel the mist from the waterfall on you. The more that you use in those things, the more that you power up. Once you get powered up, your intuition's going to kick in. It's going to tell you what you need to do.
Okay. People want to know a little bit more about who Jodiann is. So what would you say your mission or your life's purpose is? Where do you see yourself going?
My life purpose always has been and has probably stayed the same, and that's that I want everyone to be able to reach their potential, whatever it is for them. I want people to connect to their life purpose, to be empowered. If it's a young child, I want them to keep feeling that innocence of a young child through their whole life so that they don't carry baggage. One of the things that inspires me so much, that I love about my work, is taking people on journeys and removing blocks so that they're free, so that they can see themselves, so that they can feel the peace and the bliss that I feel every day. Recently I remember you calling me a pyramid, and this morning I took somebody on a journey, and I had no idea, but I took her on this beautiful journey, and in the middle of it, in the middle of this beautiful bubble, all of a sudden she was in the middle of a pyramid, and all of the walls came to life, and I giggled because I was thinking, this is how all this works. It's all related. That if we can just remove blocks, this person was having a major block, and if we can just take people on journeys and remove them, we can get them to the life purpose. She sat in the middle of this pyramid. It removed all of the frustrations that she had while she was sitting there, and then she walked out feeling like she was brand new. So if you ask me what inspires me, and what is, for me, my purpose, my biggest purpose is to get people so that they feel connected to what they really are, to their own power and to their own purpose, so that they can become what they really were in the world.
How would you say that being powered up has perhaps helped or inspired you?
I think when I realized, first of all, that I wasn't powered up, that I had moments of negativity when I was young, and how disempowered I was as an adolescent, I think that putting all the things and steps and learning along the way what powered me up. It took years. It wasn't something that was a light bulb flash to me. I actually had to go through a whole bunch of different situations of feeling disempowered to work my way out of it, like I was in a maze. And so for me, being powered up has helped me in every way in my life. Like when you're powered up, everything comes to you need. So on one experience, I moved states. I needed a job, a mortgage, a house, my partner to have the same thing, and I needed it in 24 hours. As soon as you are powered up, everything you need falls into place. Well, I gave myself 48 hours to have a job, the same place and the same time as my partner, and everything that I needed, the house, the mortgage, to say yes, and I gave myself 24 hours. I got it in 24. How does that happen? Because I always believe when I'm powered up, everything I need comes to me. Again, that's a choice. So for me, powering up has helped me in everything. I get the job, I get the situations, I get the relationship, whatever it is that I need, it comes to me.
So are there times when you don't get what you want? Surely this isn't a magic catalogue.
I think you've got to be really realistic in what you're powering up first. So if I went around saying that I wanted to live in, Balmoral, in one of the castles, then I'm not powering up to something that's very true. But if I wanted to power up and I wanted to point this energy, because remember, energy is never lost, it's only transferred. So what you have to do is get powered up and then direct it to the simple things that you're able to achieve. Now, all of those things on that day, over that time, I was able to achieve. I had the qualifications for a job, I had a car, I found the house I wanted, it was a country town. So I picked things that were probably more likely to occur, but I still had to be powered up to do it. Because if I sat there in worry and fear and said it's not going to happen, then it wasn't going to happen regardless of being powered up. Does that make sense? So it's really important that if you're powered up, that you keep focused, that you believe that it's going to happen, and then know it's going to happen. That's part of being powered up, and then it will happen.
But to also have realistic expectations.
You have to have realistic expectations, because please hear me, everybody, there is no set fate. Okay, this is the biggest mistake that everybody makes. They just go and sit in their lives and think that fate is going to take over and that everything's going to happen. Guess what? It doesn't. It's not the way it works. Yes, there's coincidences, but there's only probabilities in life. I'm a scientist. I studied science. There is probabilities. If you do A, B, and C, your likely outcome will happen. But if you don't do A, B, and C, the outcome isn't going to happen. So if you are just asking the universe and powering up and then sitting in your room waiting for a date, it ain't going to happen. You're going to have to put yourself with people. If you're going to say, I want the ideal job, but then you don't open up the paper or go online to look for a job, you aren't going to get it. You have to, this is what I say to everybody, is that you have to power yourself up. And the brain works in a way, it's a very clever thing. Whatever question you ask your brain instantly starts formulating how to get it. Okay, all you have to say is, I wonder how. How many times have you gone, I wonder how Johnny is, and then Johnny rings you. I wonder if this will happen, and all of a sudden it happens. You got to be really careful that you don't go, I wonder if a bad thing will happen, because if you're powered up, that can happen too. You have to understand the way the whole thing works. And the way it works is that if you're powered up, what you ask for, you start being guided and directed to. This is the way all animals are. They know their body needs water. They're in their environment, so they're started to be guided by their intuition and their instincts to water. They know they can smell a female somewhere. They start getting guided to it. We're exactly the same. So for me, being powered up has shown me over and over again with everyone that I've trained. They ring me and they go, I'm powered up. I can even sit there with somebody and watch their battery draining and emptying as they're talking to me. Now, I know when my battery's starting to power down, and so I just take a big breath and look around me and it powers back up again. So for me, I use it for everything, and I'm so excited to bring this concept to everybody else because I've seen the results. I know it works.
There's so many people who are lost or stuck in their job, stuck in a rut, confused, maybe depressed. How can I ask Jodiann help them, and what would you say the top 5 things are that they need to know?
Okay. There's many ways that Ask Jodiann can help them. Number one, I suggest to people to book in for sessions with me. And I've also trained a bunch of people that they can book in for sessions for as well, not just me. When you book in for a session with me, what happens with Ask Jodiann is that I use my intuition to download information that you're not listening to. Everyone's intuition and what is happening around them is around them every day. I'll give you an example of this. I said to my daughter one day, who chucked the biggest hissy fit, I said, when you go to school today, what's going to happen is that you're going to get in trouble. And she said, why? And I said, written on you is going to be everything that you just did to me. Now, when somebody walks up to you, you are instantly using your intuition to tell whether they're a good person. You're using your intuition to find the things that have happened in their life. Maybe they've hurt their wives, maybe they're depressed, maybe they're sad, maybe they've stolen money, maybe they've done something wrong. You're already reading them going, yeah, I like you, no I don't. Okay? So what happens is that information can be expanded on. That information is available to everyone. People say to you, oh, you're just using psychic stuff. It's not true. We are all intuitive. We're intuitive beings. And psychic stuff and fortune telling is all different. It's not about that. When you come to me for a session, I'm using my intuition to download the intuition about you. So I can tell you why you're blocked, when it happened, take you on a journey to remove it. I can tell you every situation that's around you right now and where you have to go and the decisions that you're making. Like an example, when you were talking to me about somebody that you knew that was stuck, instantly, the second that you asked me, I started downloading information to you to say to you that they're stuck because they're choosing not to make a decision. So instantly, as soon as you ask me, the information starts coming down. Whether it's when I used to run emergency departments, I'd know before the doctors did what was wrong with everybody. It's the same thing. So the first thing that I recommend for people is to book in for a session or to do one of my questionnaires, to go through one of the questionnaires and be a detective themselves. I've organized a whole range of detective things, whether it's relationships, whether it's career, whether it's life purpose, whether it's cancer, whether it's health, so that when I'm not available or one of my team aren't available, you can take yourself through the whole assessment. So that's number one. The other thing is that I've got a whole pile of guided journeys, and it's on everything. You want to be able to find the source of your own blocks. You want to be able to find the source of your own inspirations. but I take you on a journey within yourself to find them, whether it's on health or whatever topic it is. I can take you through it.
Okay, tell me about some of these guided journeys. What do they consist of?
I love guided journeys so much. I mean, I've taped a whole pile of them for people so that when I'm not available, that they can take to do the journeys by themselves. But what the journeys are is that I never know what they're going to be. That's the beauty of them. They're never script written. So say that you come to me and where I'm downloading stuff, and then all of a sudden I realize that you've got a block. And it might be a block from when you're really young, but I don't know what it is at that point. But my intuition, what I do is I just start taking you on a guided journey, and how it happens is all of a sudden I see light starting to swirl around you. And then in this light, all of a sudden, I see the light either going into part of your body, or I see the light swirl through you, and I get you to see it too. And I'll see it take you up somewhere through your body and up, out into a bubble of light, and out into the universe somewhere. And I never know where we're going to go or what's going to happen. Like today, in this beautiful bubble of light, we ended up in this pyramid with this girl who just needed her body completely cleansed and needed to feel completely free. For somebody else, it might be going on a journey to talk to somebody, or it might be going on a journey to go back into a part of their body. So I never know exactly what they're going to do, but I use my intuition to get to exactly the right spot. And in the journeys, we go back, and we may go back and identify, you might be in the rainforest and all of a sudden feel a little tap on you. And it'll be a younger you. Sometimes it'll be maybe you when you were 5. And then all of a sudden we'll talk to the little 5-year-old and find out what they're worried or scared about. And then we go back and a scene will appear, and we'll go back and we'll rewrite that scene. So the journeys are always really authentic to that person. They're tailor-made for them. They're not script written where, a lot of people are doing them. I get everyone that I've trained for journeys, I get them to do them intuitively, because then you get the exact problem. People always come back and they haven't talked to their mother or something for years, and they start talking to them. One girl was being stalked, and we tried everything. Everyone had tried everything. And so I took her on a guided journey, and we actually took her to a beach setting, and we went back and we talked to this guy on an unconscious level. Within 3 journeys that we did with her talking to him, even despite all the police and the forms and everything, this guy finally stopped talking to her, and it was an incredibly and powerful moment for her because she could get on with her life. So the guided journeys help you on so many levels.
So what would you consider as your main theme across all of the work that you do in all your programs?
I think that the main themes now are intuition and powering up would be, and removing blocks. I think the main themes for me is trying to get everybody's life purpose back on track, to get everybody from a place where they feel stuck to moving forward. And even if somebody feels completely inspired by their life, there's always another level up that you can go. So it doesn't matter what's going on with their life, wherever they are, the information from Ask Jodiann can always give them some more insight. Maybe they're really good at their career, but they really suck at relationships. Maybe they're really good at health, but they just can't do anything with their career. So Ask Jodiann, really, at the moment, my main theme across the board is trying to empower everybody to the best they can be, covering all areas of their life. That's really my mission.
Okay.